Hello and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing very, very well. This is a video that many people they've been asking. They've been saying, can you stop doing transfer stuff? And we're not all about transfers on the United Stand. We do like to get topical, and this is a video that it's probably been in the making for about 5 months, because I know it's been in the making for 5 months because I've just changed the top 5. But who are Jose Mourinho's top 5 Manchester United players? The invincibles, the irreplaceables, the players that if Mourinho had to pick not a five-a-side team because you'd have to balance it, but the 5 players that are most important to Jose Mourinho. This, if you are a real Manchester United fan, is a topic that's going to really excite you like it excites me. And I want you to get commenting below, because this is not going to be my top 5. This is based on what Mourinho says, research around Mourinho, who he picks the most, who he gloats about, who are the top 5 Mourinho. And I think they will definitely be different to yours. So get commenting below if you're live. Give us your top 5s. Who is your top 5 and compared to Mourinho's? But without further ado, drop a like on the video. Let's crack on with it. I'm going on to a different screen, but I've got the live comments for those who were late yesterday. A lot of people talking about Alexis Sanchez. He's been here 5 minutes. Is he in Mourinho's top 5 most important players to him? Well, let's go. First of all, Antonio Valencia in at number 5. He is Jose Mourinho's captain. Maybe Mourinho was a little bit flippant about who the captain was before, handing it round to jokers like Fellaini last season, but he settled on Valencia. Maybe Valencia's command of English isn't great, but look at the 2 goals, the rocket goals that Valencia scored this season. Was it Everton off his right foot at the start, back in October time, was it? September? And then the one the other week, at bullet into the top corner against Stoke. But it's not about the goals with Valencia, but although they have been inspiring. With Valencia, he does get man of the matches, and we do give him man of the matches, but what we consistently give Valencia is a 7 or 8 out of 10. And at right back, he solved the problem that maybe, you know, Sir Alex tried him there, Van Gaal used him there. Mourinho's really developed him there. My issue with Valencia was always his defensive positional sense, but you're going to get that from Mourinho, and Mourinho sorted that out, and quite rightly said he's one of the best right backs in the world. For me, he's the best right back in the Premier League. Definitely makes Mourinho's top 5 players. He's his captain, he's consistent, and he's very good down that right hand side. And he's all heart and he's all passion, and he runs through brick walls. He ticks every single box. And then at number 5, without a doubt, is Antonio Valencia. A lot of people are mentioning a player that I would put in there. He's not going to be in there, I'm afraid. He will not be in there. But yeah, Antonio Valencia in at number 5. No issues with that, and I don't think we can argue with it. Maybe not the most glamorous, but certainly in there. In at number 4, as he clicks it, David De Gea. Best goalkeeper in the world. Some would say deserves to be a little bit higher. Some would say maybe he is a bit higher. Best goalkeeper in the world. Mr. Consistent. Not Mr. Consistent, Mr. Fantastic. I mean, I go back to those years under Van Gaal, and we didn't do particularly well, but if it hadn't been for De Gea, I think we would have finished about mid-table or lower. The amazing thing is, I think this season we've scored something like 48 goals in the Premier League after 24 games, and under Louis van Gaal in his 2nd season we'd scored 27, which was nearly half the amount of goals. When you add into the fact that we'd only scored half the goals under Van Gaal, and then De Gea was fantastic, it shows you just how close and perilous we were to being a mid-table team under him. But we weren't, because we had David De Gea. I think he won 2 Player of the Year awards in a row. I've said best goalkeeper in the world too many times on this video already, but he is irreplaceable to Manchester United, certainly an invincible. And what he does do, De Gea, is he allows you to have this situation that Manchester United have got at the moment, where we've got Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Marcus Rojo, Lindelof, and hopefully Bay comes back. None of them are quite world-class, top-class defenders yet. They're all very, very good defenders, and I can't knock any of them. But we're getting by with not needing top-class defenders at the moment, centre-backs, because we've got De Gea behind them. And very good centre-backs with a world-class goalkeeper behind them. It balances it out, and it makes our defence very, very strong. He is fantastic. He is irreplaceable, really. He probably should be higher up there, but this isn't my top 5. This is Jose Mourinho's top 5, and this is who I think are his top 5 players. Gunmetal says Valencia, De Gea, Pogba, Sanchez, Lukaku. Interesting. 3 in a row now, I think, says Michael Van Gerwen. And Ed says Alexis Sanchez shouldn't be in there because he's only just got here. Salim Hussein, Mark, De Gea's not fantastic, he's world class on another level. Yep, I agree with that. And long shot, but City have to play. Oh no, CK Clark's talking to himself about United winning the title. Says Bailly is Mark. I think he's talking about Eric Bailly being a world-class centre-back. He is elect a world-class centre-back. He is not a world-class centre-back at the moment because he's out too much injured. I agree with you, he's got the potential. He's our best centre-back, but he needs to play consistently. And I would agree he's top class when he plays, but he's too intermittent. But we're talking De Gea, no doubt about it. De Gea is one of the 5 invincibles, irreplaceables to Mourinho, and he's definitely in Mourinho's top 5 players. Just before we move on, it would have been a great joke for me to put Fellaini in at the next spot, but Fellaini isn't in the top 5. As much as I joke about Mourinho's obsession with Fellaini, I don't think Mourinho would put him in his top 5 Manchester United players. Probably in his top 6, but certainly not in his top 5. So who's in at number 3? Well, I'm going to upset the people who said Alexis Sanchez shouldn't be in there. Alexi Sanchez is in there. We'd be too late for the party if we did this video and said that he wasn't. We've spent a hell of a lot of money on Alexi Sanchez. He's wearing the number 7 shirt. We saw in the debut against Yeovil last night, and I know it was only Yeovil, but you see what he brings to the team. And if he stays fit, he's already in Mourinho's top 5 players. He already is. I'm sorry if people think, well, he doesn't deserve to be there because he's only just signed, and maybe he's not in your top 5 players, and I understand that. But we're talking about who are Jose Mourinho's top 5 Manchester United players that he takes with him if he has to take 5. And Alexis Sanchez would firmly be in there. And ahead of De Gea and ahead of Valencia, yes, because Alexis Sanchez is his big star signing. He's the player that is going to make things happen. He's the player that Mourinho wanted. And he's arguably should be higher. I think maybe in a year's time when we do this, he may be at the number 2, number 1 position. At the moment, he's certainly in there, and he's in there in the middle at number 3, and deserves to be in there in Mourinho's eyes, I would imagine, because Mourinho will hold him up very, very highly. He will be one of Mourinho's key men. And as I said, it's what he brings to the team: directness, ability on the ball off both feet, quick, skillful. He'll score plenty of goals. He has to be in the top 5. Otherwise, he's a flop, and he's certainly not a flop. So Alexis Sanchez definitely gets in the top 5. He would get in my top 5. I'm going to give you my top 5 in a minute, but he definitely gets in the top 5, and I think everyone would agree with that. Lynn Hall says Pogba, Sanchez, Matic, De Gea, Valencia, Jose's top 5. Interesting, Lynn, because I can categorically tell you one of those players isn't in there. And in fact, we may as well go to it because it's the next player. In at number 2, I think this is a controversial one. This is not my top 5. In at number 2, Romelu Lukaku. Whether you agree with it or not, he is for Jose Mourinho absolutely essential and definitely one of his irreplaceable invincibles. He is. He definitely is. He's spoken about him so much. You go back to October when the fans were sort of turning on him a little bit, and Mourinho was getting very frustrated, saying it's not about what he does with the ball, it's what he does off the ball. He's one of my irreplaceables. He plays every week. He has played every week. Mourinho loves Lukaku, and Mourinho will defend Lukaku to the ends of the earth, and Mourinho will definitely have Lukaku in his top 5. You may disagree with that, and I don't think he makes my top 5, but he's hurt. You don't have to go and have a cup of coffee at Starbucks with Mourinho to find out that Lukaku's in his top 5. He loves Lukaku. He always plays Lukaku. He never subs Lukaku. Why does he love Lukaku though? Well, I agree with Mourinho that I like what Lukaku brings to Manchester United. I don't like his first touch. He's got to work on that. His finishing isn't smooth. He's got to work on that. But I like his effort, and I like what he does to opposition defenders. When we had Zlatan last year, I've said it so many times, we were getting pressed in the midfield because they were playing a high line because they weren't scared of the ball over the top. Lukaku likes the ball over the top. He pushes defences back, which creates space for our midfielders. That's why we've seen a better Pogba this year. And that's why when Zlatan played, we saw a worse Pogba again. Lukaku makes Pogba better because he leaves the space. He doesn't drop into the number 10 position. He plays on the last 2 centre-backs. He occupies them and he creates space. And we've got that out ball over the top. Mourinho loves that. And Mourinho loves a big man up front who can hold the ball up, be aggressive, keep working tirelessly, and create spaces in behind for his players. That's why Mourinho loves Lukaku. It's very simple. Lukaku's a very simple player. I hear a lot of derogatory terms about him being, you know, a bit like, just a thug up front and quite basic, you know, the Belgian Emil Heskey, which is very, very derogatory, like I say. But Mourinho likes that sort of player. Mourinho likes that sort of player who would just run and run and run and occupy defences and then leave the flair players behind with all the space. definitely Lukaku would be in at number 2. So to recap, Jose Mourinho's top 5 players: Valencia at 5, De Gea at 4, Alexis Sanchez at 3, Lukaku at number 2, and you know who number 1's going to be. It's the man with the big hair. It is Marouane Fellaini. It's not. It's Paul Pogba. Of course it's Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is the one. If Mourinho has to take one player from this United side and he goes to PSG and he's got to pick a player to take with him, it's always going to be Paul Pogba. And quite rightly so. I think Paul Pogba's career at Manchester United has been much the same as Manchester United's. I think last year it was okay in bits, but ultimately we progressed and we got where we needed to be with Champions League football and we won a couple of trophies. This year, it's been better. There's been lots of better football, more entertaining. We're achieving better. The progress is better than last year. And Paul Pogba's been a fundamental part in that. Let's not forget, when we go back to that injury in the middle of September to the start of November, we were dreadful. That's where we went to Liverpool and parked the bus. We lost at Chelsea. We lost at Huddersfield. You know, we scraped a 1-0 win over Spurs, but we were never convincing in that period. From August to middle of September, when Pogba got injured, we were 4-0 FC. We were battering teams. When Pogba came back in November against Watford, against Arsenal especially, he was fantastic. He had a little dip after coming back from the red card against Arsenal, but recently he seems like he's getting that back. And he is essential, fundamental, and a key pinpoint figure of Manchester United's success this season. And that is why he is Mourinho's number 1. And he'll progress even more. He will get even better. He can be, and arguably is already, one of the world's best midfielders, certainly in relation to box. He can run at people, he can switch the play, he can hit a long ball, he can tackle, he's good in the air. He's got the lot. He's got a lot of energy, he's quick. The thing I love about Pogba is there aren't many midfielders in world football who, when they get the ball, they can run past the midfielder in the midfielder. He's got the ability of a winger, but he's got the tackling ability of a Kante, he's got the passing ability of a Scholes, he's got the running ability of a Martial, he's got the finishing, he's got the long shot, he's got a lot of things to his game. I'm not going to say he's world class yet, he's not far off, but I think his development is heading that way, and the longer Manchester United can hold on to him, the better. And he ultimately, 100% has to be Jose Mourinho's, well, he is Jose Mourinho's biggest signing, and he's certainly Jose Mourinho's number 1. And we've certainly seen that when Pogba's not been around, that we've struggled with it. Roma Dude says Fellaini has to be among the top 5. I am going to give you my top 5. This is not my top 5. This is Jose Mourinho's top 5 Manchester United players based on basically what he says. Valencia at number 5, De Gea at number 4, Sanchez at 3, Lukaku at 2, and Pogba at 1. There are a couple of players who very, very nearly made it, and if we hadn't assigned Sanchez, I've heard somebody say, well, what would it have been 2 weeks? Who's the player you took out? And I can tell you that the player I took out was this man, Nemanja Matic. He was in there, and I think Matic is very close to being in the top 5. But again, I take this as a positive, because there's another player, as we all know, in Anthony Martial, who would be in my top 5, which I'll give in a minute. But this is now a big, big positive and a big indicator of where Manchester United are getting, because we're arguing amongst ourselves about the number 5, the 5 players that should be there. Siraj is saying Anthony Martial, Moad is saying Matic for David De Gea, Rahouf is saying Angel Gomez. Somebody said it. Where's Lingard? Is the English Iniesta, mini diver. This is the positive. I think if we did this probably 18 months ago, you'd be putting people like Mata in there, and with all due and Herrera, and with all due respect to those players, they're really good players. But look at the quality of that top 5 now. Your Valencias, your De Geas, your Sanchez, your Pogba, your Lukaku. Look at the players who don't make it in there, especially your Matic. Matic almost deserves to be in there because he is the man who gives the platform for Pogba. He is the man that Mourinho picked to come and run the midfield with Carrick's powers waning. Matic he's part of that spine. He's very, very important. If Eric Bay's fit, he's part of that spine. He is top class. He's another one. Anthony Martial, for me, would definitely be in there. I don't think Mourinho puts him in there because I think he values the 5 I've already mentioned and Matic before he does Martial. But we know Mourinho and Martial's relationship has been, you know, not easy. I think Mourinho likes and appreciates Martial now, and Martial appreciates Mourinho. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Mourinho would put Martial in the top 5. I certainly would. But it just goes to show United are getting towards that 11 players where we go, wow. And we've certainly got 6, 7, arguably 8 that are fantastic top class players that are really fundamental to what Mourinho is achieving. I think after this summer we'll be up to 8, 9 or 10. Very close to that perfect storm. So I take it as a positive that there are players that people are saying, oh, they should be in there. I do, because it just shows that we're building the right sort of squad. But that 5, for me, is the Mourinho's top 5. And I think Matic would have been there if we hadn't signed the Sanchez. Zotti Moon says Martial, Pogba, Sanchez, Matic, De Gea. And if Bay is fit, he's world class, as Ed Top Tyre. He's got the potential to be. He's got the potential to be. And if you think Mourinho cares about relationships, you don't know Mourinho, says Siddharth. Siddharth is Mourinho's best mate, you see. Pogba, Sanchez, Matic, Martial, Lukaku, says Mike, Big Mike. Okay, I'll give you my top 5. My top 5 would be very different, very different. I'm just homing it in now. What I would go with as number 5. I know my top 3. He wouldn't be in there. Yeah, you would be in there. I would stick Valencia at 5. I think Valencia is fundamental to the team because of his experience, what he brings. He does run through brick walls. And Manchester United, let's not forget, we are ultimately about width. I'll say that till the cows come home. And they haven't come home yet. But we are about width. And Valencia is the perfect width player. So I like Valencia. He would be in at number 5. Alexis Sanchez would be in at number 4 for me. I think, like I said, in a year's time, I think he's probably going to be in the top 2. But at the moment, he's only been here a few days. He is a fantastic talent, but we do need to see him play more games just to see what his Manchester United career is going to be. But because he is top stroke world class, he's got to be in the top 5, and I'd put him in at number 4 as a new entry. In at number 3, it would be David De Gea, best goalkeeper in the world. I'd have him at 3, 4 in Mourinho's, but 3 for me. I don't need to say anything more. I've been saying for a long time that he's the best goalkeeper in the world, and he would be irreplaceable if he went. So De Gea would be number 3. I would have... I very nearly put this guy at number 1. He's my favourite Manchester United player, but I'd put him in at number 2, Anthony Martial, because I just think this season especially, I liked him before this season. I liked him in his first season for Van Gaal. He's a flair player. He's exactly what Manchester United are all about. His consistency this season, the thing that's impressed me the most about Martial is his ball retention. Whether he's running at people or whether he doesn't see an opportunity to run at people and he plays the simple pass or even a very good pass or an assist, his ball retention is something that Mourinho's worked on with him, because last year he was a player that 50% of the time he produced something great, 50% of the time he lost the ball. What he's doing now is 70%, 80% of the time he's doing something with the ball, whether it's running at people or finding the pass, and that's the impressive maturity for somebody so young. I think he's a potential Ballon d'Or winner or whatever they want to call it now. And for me, he is our best player this season. He is. He's got so many important goals, so many match-winning goals, so many assists. He is the best player for us this season. But he's not our most important player. It is Paul Pogba. I can't move away from that because I've already seen it, and we've already had so many discussions about Pogba and how poor we are without Pogba. And we even saw it last night in the Oval game. Yes, Sanchez got a lot of the ball, but there's no support from really the likes of McTominay, Herrera, Carrick, even your Matic and your Fellaini. They don't have what Pogba brings, which is the flair and offensive ability. They're all good midfielders, but they don't bring what he brings. And when he doesn't play, we miss Pogba. And I think everybody else I'm not saying we can get by without a Lukaku or a Sanchez or a Martial, but Pogba leaves a big hole in the team. And at the moment, he's our most important player. So that would be my top 5. I would take Lukaku out of Mourinho's. I'd bring Martial in. And that's it. Matic doesn't make my top 5 either. This season he's been fantastic, says Gents Tech, talking about Martial. Multsy with the most ridiculous comment ever says Martial's a 45-minute player. He offers nothing in this second 45 minutes. You need to get yourself down to a United game, mate, or just turn the telly on when we're playing and you'll realise how naive that comment is. Martial's been fantastic off the bench, yes, but that was a long time ago. He's playing 90 minutes more or less now, and he produces the goods. He gets subbed off because Mourinho wants to give Rashford minutes. He's a fantastic player. Mourinho will drop Martial and play Sanchez, says Happy Ricks. If he does that, he's going to really let down a lot of United fans. It would be a disgrace if he does that, a real disgrace. And it's not just me saying that, it's all of you, but a lot of decent pundits are saying it as well, that Martial can't be left out of the team. He's been our best player this season. Best player by a long way. Thumbs up to my number 5, top 5 over Mourinho, says Matt Grease. Well, Mourinho's his own man. Mourinho's his own man. He does have these little different things to his personality that maybe United fans do, and I think that is reflected in most people preferring my top 5. But Mourinho is adapting to Manchester United. I always said this, he's the right man for us, but his history is not really a perfect fusion with what Manchester United stand for. So over the last 18 months I've been really impressed with him, because he is sort of moulding himself to what Manchester United's all about gradually. But I still think, you know, the Lukaku would be in his top 5, even though I'd sub him out for Martial. But that's Mourinho's history. Again, he likes that forward up front. He just does all the running and pushes people back, and I understand that. But obviously I'd go for the flair of Martial, who wouldn't push them back, but might run past 3 or 4 of them. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. It's just a very quick lunchtime video that I'd wanted to do for a long time. So please do smash the like button, and please do leave us your top 5 and your comments below, because that's the whole point of it really. It was to generate a bit of debate, move away from transfers for a day. Tonight at 8 o'clock we've got a video going up about 5 things that Jose Mourinho needs to improve at Manchester United still. So yeah, we're very happy with what we've got, but what are the issues we've still got to improve on? And definitely want your opinions on that. Robbie_MUFC7 has made a contribution. He says, just a contribution to appreciate your hard work for our United fan base. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. Was it Robbie? It was Robbo. Thanks, Robbo. Really appreciate that. We can't do it without any of you lot either. So thanks everyone who watches the videos live and not live. I know that we've got global support, and 12 o'clock midday UK time could be midnight somewhere else. So if you are picking it up later, thanks to everybody who watches the United Stand and keeps spreading the word. We're closing in on 200,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I think we're on 186,067 at the moment. So back at 8 o'clock tonight. Please do drop a like on the video, and please, 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 if you're watching live or not, come back and leave your comments on what your top 5 are, because we really want to have a read through that and see what people's opinion are. But as Tomajit says, I trust Mourinho. Hashtag trust Jose. He's doing a great job for us, and things are going well. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon. Oh, I've just if everyone's still watching, I've got a link to a video in the bottom video description, which is the top 5 January transfer signings ever, which I've done for another channel. So go and give that a watch. The link is in the video description. Top 5 January transfer windows ever. Top 5 January signings ever. I think you'll like who's at number 1. Really, really go and watch it. You'll love who's at number 1. Thanks everyone. Speak to you soon, and pop over and give that a watch. Top 5 Deadwood players, says Abu. Don't want to go too negativity.